Hi, it's Eric and welcome to our video conversation this week. Before coming to Washington, I joined Dave Lee on WCCO Radio, where I had an interview talking about my efforts to combat sex trafficking and also about the STEM competition that I'm having for my office to have high schoolers throughout the district submit applications or apps for their mobile devices that might get an opportunity to win and be displayed on the House public website for the entire country. Check out the interview on my Facebook page. Also, as you know, it's spring break time. We've had a lot of spring breakers throughout Minnesota that have taken the time to stop by my office. Even had the chance to bring some of the folks and the kids on the House floor during votes, which is always exciting. So if you're coming to Washington for spring break or in the future this summer, make sure you stop by my office and arrange a tour of the Capitol or the White House or wherever we can be helpful. We're going to get into our questions for the week, though, and we had several people who contacted me this week regarding an issue about how much they value the Antiquities Act. And I heard from people like Dawn in Maple Grove, Tracy in Minnetonka, and Peter in Edina, and they wrote in to say, Congressman Paulsen, almost half of all national parks began as national monuments. Dismantling the Antiquities Act would weaken an important land protection tool at a time when Congress is struggling to move land protection bills. National monuments and other public lands are an essential part of our state's economies. Outdoor recreation fuels $646 billion in the U.S. economy and supports more than 6 million jobs. For these reasons and many more, I hope you'll uphold the Antiquities Act. Well, first of all, I'll just mention it was great to see so many people that are following this issue that actually took the time to write in. There's no doubt that the Antiquities Act has been used to create many of our famous national parks today that began as national monuments. Think of the Grand Canyon, the Statue of Liberty. In fact, the Antiquities Act was first started by one of my favorite presidents, Teddy Roosevelt. There is a balance to be had, and I think we make sure that we have public input whenever land is to be set aside by the president for a national monument, as well as making sure we've got public input in that process. But the bill that was proposed that would have made the changes, I voted against, and that's why I voted to uphold the Antiquities Act and make sure that we're going to have national monuments that could eventually become national parks for our country, some of our best crown jewels. Also received an email from David in Osseo. David in Osseo writes in, Dear Congressman Paulsen, some members of Congress are saying no cuts can be made to government spending, but recently a report came out saying the State Department plans to pay $400,000 for a statue of a camel in Pakistan. My tax dollars are constantly going to wasteful projects like this. This statue of a camel is a clear example that we need major cutbacks in government spending. I urge you, please, to cut wasteful spending. Thank you, David. You know, David, unfortunately, you're absolutely correct. This is another example of wasteful Washington spending, especially at a time when we think we have a $17 trillion national debt. The good news is we've identified this project. We're going to make a move in the House to make sure we're not funding projects like this. I want to encourage all of the listeners that are taking the time to watch the video, send in your thoughts or ideas about other wasteful government spending. We're going to make sure that when we pass a budget in the near future, it's a budget that balances. We think that's a very important thing to do to get our country and our fiscal house back on track. I want to encourage you to send your thoughts, your ideas, and your questions on my Facebook page. You can reach me on Twitter, or of course you can reach out on the website at paulsen.house.gov. Have a great weekend.